All right, let's unpack this with a question that might seem simple, but it actually holds the key to a massive financial concept. Would you rather have $100 today or $100 tomorrow? Most of you probably instinctively said today. And you'd be right, because that seemingly small preference points directly to something profoundly important: the time value of money. Today's deep dive is all about understanding how money changes value over time. It's a foundational concept in finance and accounting, and honestly, it's crucial for making smart decisions in both business and your personal life. Think about it. Whether you're saving for retirement, taking out a loan, or evaluating a big business investment, this idea is, well, it's right at the heart of it all.
Exactly. Our mission today is to sort of pull back the curtain on how financial value shifts over time. We're going to explore how future cash flows, money you expect to receive or pay later, are actually measured in today's dollars. Understanding why that matters for financial reporting and how you could apply these powerful concepts to real-world scenarios, that's really our goal here.
And it really does matter, especially in financial reporting. Generally accepted accounting principles, or GAAP, actually require that assets and liabilities involving future cash flows be recorded on the balance sheet in today's
Yeah.
dollars.
Why? Because if you don't convert future money to today's dollars, you're not comparing like with like. It's like trying to compare, I don't know, the value of a house today to the potential payout of a future lottery ticket. You need a common denominator to truly assess financial health.
Mm-hmm.
This deep dive is your shortcut to being well-informed about a concept that impacts everything from your retirement savings to, complex corporate valuations. So let's dive into the core idea. A dollar today is worth more than a dollar tomorrow. We know it intuitively, but from a financial perspective, why is that fundamentally true? It comes down to two main things: opportunity and risk. First, opportunity. Money today has the power to be invested. It can start earning interest immediately, which allows it to grow over time. The longer you have it, the more it can compound. Second, there's always an element of risk with future money. Will you actually receive it? Will inflation erode its purchasing power? Money in hand today avoids those uncertainties.
Right. The certainty factor.
Exactly. And this is precisely why it's so critical in accounting. Many assets and liabilities, like pension obligations, future revenue streams, or payments due years from now, involve cash flows that will be received or paid in the future. Accountants need to measure these on the balance sheet at their present value. This ensures they reflect their true economic worth today, giving stakeholders a clear, accurate picture of a company's current financial position.
This reminds me of a truly compelling example about retirement savings. I think I read this somewhere. Imagine you start saving $1,000 a year at age 25.
Yeah.
If that money earns a modest 6% return annually by age 65, you could have over $154,000. But here's where it gets really interesting. If you delay starting those same contributions until you're 30,
Just 5 years later?
just 5 years, your fund only grows to about $111,000. That's a difference of over $43,000, a significant haircut just for waiting 5 years.
Wow.
The lesson here isn't just start early, it's that the cost of delaying is immense. That $43,000 isn't just a number, it's the peace of mind knowing your money worked for you while you lived your life, compounding silently in the background.
That's the undeniable power of interest at work. At its most basic, interest is simply the payment for the use of money.
Yeah.
And we calculate it in two primary ways. First, there's simple interest, which is computed only on the original principal amount. For instance, if a company borrows $10,000 at a 6% simple interest rate for 1 year, the interest is a straightforward $600. It's linear, predictable.
Yeah.
Very. But then we have compound interest, which is where the financial magic truly happens. Compound interest is computed not just on the principal, but also on any accumulated interest. Think of it like this. Your money earns interest, and then that interest starts earning interest too.
Interest on interest.
Exactly. If you deposit $10,000 at 9% simple interest for 3 years, you'd earn $2,700. But at 9% compound interest over the same period, you'd earn closer to $2,950. That extra $250 comes from your interest working for you. This is why compound interest is the typical method used in nearly all business and personal finance situations. It reflects how money actually grows.
So to solve these kinds of problems, whether you're planning your retirement or structuring a multi-million-dollar business deal, there are four fundamental variables we need to keep in mind. First, the rate of interest, usually annual, but remember to adjust it if the compounding period is shorter, like quarterly or monthly.
Right, that's a key.
Second, the number of time periods, which means the number of compounding periods, not necessarily just years, could be 60 months, for example. Third, the future value, which is what your money will be worth at a specific date in the future. And finally, the present value, what that future money is worth right now. The good news is that while understanding the concepts is key, tools like spreadsheets and financial calculators simplify these calculations dramatically. You don't have to do it all by hand with tables anymore.
Thank goodness for that. And it's absolutely crucial to remember that compounding frequency can significantly impact your returns. For example, a 12% annual interest rate compounded quarterly doesn't just give you 12% back, it actually results in a higher effective yield, closer to 12.55%.
Why is that?
Because you're earning interest on your interest more frequently throughout the year. Each quarter, the interest earned gets added to the principal, and then that new higher principal earns interest in the next quarter.
Ah, see.
Even small differences in compounding like daily versus annually can make a noticeable difference to your bottom line over time. Banks often advertise the effective annual yield for this reason.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's move on to what we call single sum problems. These are scenarios where you're dealing with just one amount of money. You might know its value today and want to know its worth in the future, or you might know its future worth and want to figure out what it's worth right now.
Right. There are two main categories here. First, the future value of a single sum. This is about projecting a known present value forward in time. For instance, if a company invests $50,000 for 5 years at 6% compounded annually, that investment grows to about $67,000.
Right.
Simple enough.
Yeah.
On a larger scale, imagine a company depositing $250 million for a major project, maybe earning 10% compounded semi-annually for 4 years. That $250 million will grow to nearly $370 million. This allows companies to forecast the growth of their investments accurately.
Wow, big numbers.
Yep. The second category is the present value of a single sum. This is the reverse, taking a known future value and discounting it back to today. Discounting is simply the process of removing the interest that would have been earned over time. The present value will always be smaller than the future value because you're essentially stripping away that future growth potential.
Right, because $1 today is worth more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you're promised, say, $73,000 in 5 years, and the discount rate reflecting the risk and opportunity cost is 8%, that future amount is actually worth about $50,000 today.
And you can apply this directly to your own life. Imagine your uncle offers you $2,000 for a trip to Europe when you graduate college in 3 years. Nice, uncle.
Very nice.
He wants to invest a lump sum today to guarantee you that $2,000. If his investment earns 8% compound annual interest, how much should he invest today? Using these concepts, you could tell him he needs to put aside about $1,588 right now. It makes the intangible future tangible today, which is incredibly empowering for financial planning.
Absolutely. And what's powerful here is that if you know any 3 of these 4 variables, future value, present value, interest rate, or number of periods, you can always solve for the 4th. It's like algebra.
Yeah.
For example, if a village wants to accumulate $70,000 for a monument, and they've already deposited, let's say, $47,800 earning 10% interest, we can calculate it will take exactly 4 years to reach their goal. This concept is vital for setting financial targets and understanding timelines.
So you can figure out the when.
Precisely. Or, similarly, we can solve for the interest rate. If a company needs about $1.07 million in 5 years for a new project, and they have $800,000 to invest today, by plugging those numbers in, they can determine they need to find an investment that yields exactly 6% interest. It's like having a compass to navigate your financial options and know what rate you need to hit your target.
Okay, so we've seen how a single dollar moves through time, future value, present value. But what about when you're dealing with a stream of payments, like a mortgage or a pension or even a lottery payout?
Ah, yes, that's where the concept of annuities becomes incredibly powerful.
Annuities sounds complicated.
Really, once you break it down, an annuity isn't just a fancy word. It's simply a series of equal payments or receipts, called rents, made at equal, regular intervals, with interest compounded once each interval. It's different from single-sum problems because you're dealing with a consistent flow of identical payments, not just one lump sum moving through time.
Got it. Equal payments, equal intervals.
That's right. And there are 2 key types of annuities you need to know. First, an ordinary annuity, where the payments occur at the end of each period. This means the very first payment doesn't earn any interest in its initial period, because it's deposited only at the close of that period. Think rent paid at the end of the month.
Okay.
For example, if you make $5,000 deposits at the end of each year for 5 years, earning 6% interest, we can calculate the future value of that stream of payments. The second type is an annuity due, where the payments happen at the beginning of each period.
Like rent paid up front.
Exactly. Because these payments are made earlier, They accumulate more interest over time. Think of it this way. Each payment gets an extra period to earn interest compared to an ordinary annuity.
Mhm.
This makes the future value of an annuity due always higher than an ordinary annuity for the same number of payments and the same interest rate.
This has some great personal applications, I bet. Consider someone depositing $800 a year for their child's college fund on each of their birthdays, starting on their 10th birthday. That payment is made at the beginning of the year. That's an annuity due.
Correct.
Or think about a mechanic, maybe Walter Goodwrench, who religiously deposits $2,500 every year into his retirement fund on January 1st for 30 years. That's also an annuity due. This knowledge helps us ask critical questions, like for Walter. If he accumulates, say, $371,000, is that enough for retirement?
That's the big question, isn't it? It depends on his lifestyle, inflation, lifespan. But knowing the accumulated value is the absolutely essential first step in that crucial decision-making process.
Right.
And then there's the flip side, the present value of annuities. This is about finding the single lump sum you'd need to invest now to provide a series of equal future withdrawals or payments. For instance, if you want to know the present value of receiving $6,000 in rental receipts at the end of each of the next 5 years, discounted at 6%, we can calculate that, it comes out to about $25,274 today. That's the lump sum equivalent of that future income stream.
So that's the value today of getting those future payments.
Precisely. A vivid example is often lottery winnings. Say Lucky Louie won $4 million, but it's paid as $200,000 a year for 20 years.
Sounds amazing. $4 million bucks.
Oh, hold on. While it sounds like $4 million, the true value of his winnings, the present value of that ordinary annuity, assuming a reasonable discount rate like 10%, is actually closer to $1.7 million today.
Wow, less than half.
Yeah. This illustrates how the headline number for a deferred payment plan can be significantly different from its actual worth today. It's critical for investors, consumers making purchase decisions, anyone evaluating long-term payouts.
Knowing this helps you understand so many things in your daily life. Car loans, mortgage payments, student loan structures, they're all built on these annuity concepts, aren't they?
Absolutely. They're typically ordinary annuities.
If you understand how the payments are structured and how interest truly impacts the total cost over the life of the loan, you have so much more power in making informed financial decisions. It truly is like having X-ray vision into the real cost of debt or the real value of an investment stream.
Well said. And just like with single-sum problems, we can solve for unknowns in annuity problems too. Say you want to save $14,000 for a condo down payment in 5 years. Your investment earns 8% compounded semi-annually. We can figure out how much you need to deposit at the end of each 6-month period. It's about 11,166.7.
So it tells you the required payment amount.
Exactly. Or we can solve for the number of payments. If a company wants to accumulate $117,000 by making $20,000 annual deposits at 8% interest, we can determine it will take exactly 5 deposits to reach their goal. This capability is invaluable for financial planning and budgeting, both personal and corporate.
Okay, that's useful. What about the interest rate?
Yep, we can solve for that too, and this is where it gets eye-opening for consumers. Take the example of a credit card balance, say $528.77, that gets paid off completely in 12 equal monthly payments of $50.
Seems reasonable. $50 a month.
If you actually calculate the interest rate implied by those payments using present value of an ordinary annuity concepts, you'll find you're paying a nominal annual rate of 24%.
24%.
And because it's compounded monthly, the effective annual rate is almost 27%. That's a stark, practical illustration of how compounding can work against you if you're on the paying end of high-interest debt. It really highlights the importance of understanding your loan terms.
No kidding. Okay, so those are the core annuity types. Are there more complex situations?
Oh, definitely. Now, let's look at some more advanced applications, because time value of money extends far beyond basic loans and savings. One common scenario is deferred annuities. These are annuities where the payments don't begin until a specified number of periods have passed. Maybe you set up an investment now, but the payouts don't start for 5 years.
How does that work?
When calculating the future value of a deferred annuity, you essentially ignore the deferral period because no accumulation happens then. You just calculate the FV of the annuity over the payment period itself. But for present value, it's crucial. You first compute the present value of the annuity as if payments started immediately, but the actual number of payment periods. Then you discount that single sum back through the deferral period to get the true present value today.
Okay, a two-step process.
Right. This helps value complex future payment streams, like maybe a future royalty stream from a copyright that only kicks in after a few years. Another crucial application is the valuation of long-term bonds. A typical bond actually produces two distinct types of cash flows for an investor.
Okay, what are they?
First, you get the periodic interest payments throughout the bond's life. That's an annuity, usually an ordinary annuity. Second, you get the principal, or the face value of the bond, paid back in full at maturity. That's a single sum.
Ah, so it combines both concepts we discussed.
Exactly. To find the current market value, or the price of the bond, you calculate the present value of that interest annuity and add it to the present value of the principal's single sum, both discounted at the current market rate of interest for similar bonds. This is how bond prices are determined in the market.
Fascinating.
And finally, a very relevant concept in current accounting standards is the present value measurement using the expected cash flow approach. This method is used when future cash flows aren't certain. Instead of using one single estimated cash flow, it uses a range of possible cash flow amounts and incorporates their probabilities to arrive at a probability-weighted average, or expected cash flow. Then you find the present value of that expected cash flow.
So it accounts for uncertainty.
Precisely. The Financial Accounting Standards Board, or FASB, which sets the rules for financial reporting in the U.S., suggests discounting these expected cash flows using only the risk-free rate of return, like the rate on U.S. Treasury bonds. The idea is that the credit risk, or the risk of non-payment, is already factored into the probability weighting of the cash flows themselves.
I see, so you don't double count the risk.
Correct. This approach provides a more realistic valuation when future cash flows are uncertain, like estimating warranty obligations or complex asset valuations.
Given how complex some of these calculations can get, especially with probabilities and things, I'm curious, how do people, or even big companies, actually manage these numbers in practice? Are they sitting there with calculators and tables for every single scenario?
Not usually. Not anymore, thankfully. While understanding the underlying formulas and concepts is absolutely key, technology plays a huge role in simplifying these complex calculations today. Tools like spreadsheets, think Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets, and dedicated financial calculators have built-in functions that handle all these time value of money calculations instantly.
So plug and play, almost.
Pretty much. Once you understand which function to use and what inputs are needed, rate, periods, payment, present value, future value. These tools also allow for quick analysis and, importantly, sensitivity analysis.
Sensitivity analysis, what's that?
It means easily changing one of your assumptions, like the interest rate or an expected cash flow amount, to see how it impacts the final result, like a valuation or required payment. Think about a company valuing privately held companies or analyzing major capital investments. They use these tools constantly to play what if.
Ah, so they can test different scenarios easily.
Exactly. What if interest rates go up? What if sales are lower than expected? It lets you stress test your decisions, whether you're a multi-billion-dollar company or just managing your personal budget.
Right. And these tools aren't just for accountants and big corporations, are they? They seem incredibly beneficial for personal finance decisions, too.
Oh, absolutely. Whether you're planning to buy a car or a home, trying to figure out your retirement savings strategy, comparing loan options, or even just setting up a savings plan, understanding how interest rates, time, or different payment structures affect your financial obligations or the growth of your investments, and being able to model that easily can be incredibly empowering.
So we've gone on quite a journey today, haven't we? From that simple choice of $100 today or tomorrow, we've unpacked simple interest, the power of compound interest, single-sum problems, both future and present value, annuities, ordinary and due, future and present value, and even delved into more complex areas like deferred annuities and bond valuations.
We covered a lot of ground.
It's clear that the time value of money isn't just some abstract accounting concept. It is absolutely fundamental to pretty much all financial understanding and decision-making. Wouldn't you agree?
I couldn't agree more. That's right. Understanding the time value of money isn't just about crunching numbers. It's about gaining, as you put it, financial X-ray vision. It allows you to make informed decisions that can profoundly impact your financial future, whether you're managing a business, investing, or just handling your own nest egg. So, as you reflect on this deep dive, maybe think about this. What's the biggest aha moment you had about your own finances or financial thinking during this discussion? Where did the light bulb go on for you?
That's a great question for everyone listening. I hope this deep dive encourages you to explore these concepts further in your own life. Remember, this knowledge really is a powerful shortcut to being truly well-informed about your money and your future.